Say the one thing about McDaniel is at least he's been a head coach before.
Yeah. And
I
made
think
the playoffs.
made
Right?
the playoffs. I think that is a benefit in terms of experience. Like Philip Rivers has not coached at the collegiate level, let alone the NFL level.
Hell of a high school team, though.
They went 13-1. I think they did. All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates with a veteran day off. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. We're here in the Connors and Ferris podcast studio breaking down the Bills head coaching candidates. Now, we're recording this on Friday. We're going to get into the guys, their qualifications, our thoughts on that. But before we do, Brandon Beane, this is what Beane had to say on Wednesday at his press conference about the Bills head coaching search and the expectations around it.
It's an open process. There is no front runner, old, young, former coach, first-time coach. We're opening every door. We got to find the right guy for this team to help get us over the hump. We got to be careful not to just – this is a bigger job than just a play caller and a schemer. I think we've seen where guys have been excellent play callers, but they got to the head coach seat and they couldn't handle the adversity, the conflict management, all the things that it's a CEO job. It really is. A lot of your time as a head coach or GM get taken away from me scouting, watching players, or a coach in there scheming X's and O's. So we got to make sure we get the leadership, the CEO part.
So yeah, they're going wide net. Some of the names mentioned today: Philip Rivers, Mike McDaniel. We know that the Bills have already interviewed Brian Dable. Anthony Lynn has been added. Anthony Weaver. Like, first, let's start big picture. What do you make of what they're deciding to do in this way?
Well, they definitely are casting a wide net.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel, stunning to me. Not that he isn't a known offensive coach, has some skills that are certainly there, but you are going from a buttoned up, culture driven head coach to, let's be honest, Mike McDaniel maybe is a brilliant play caller.
Mm-hmm.
They never had a great culture there the whole time he was there. Some of that could just be Miami. Some of it could be the players they brought in. They never performed in the playoffs. They never won a playoff game. But teams can be infatuated with his play calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's in that tree. And I think the idea of pairing him up with Josh Allen has to be intriguing to a lot of teams. I mean, he's interviewed basically with everybody. The Chargers want him for Herbert. The Eagles talked to him about working with Jalen Hurts. He's been in the mix for these other teams. I would have been kind of fascinating to see him in Baltimore with Lamar.
Yeah.
Very different, but that didn't happen. The idea of, the guy who wears the, I say it wrong, capris, is it?
Capris. Yep.
Who says, I wish it was colder, coming and being on that sidelines for the Bills instead of against them is kind of wild. I see the offensive part. I'm not sure about the whole big picture with Mike McDaniel.
That's one of the things that's been kind of wild these last couple of days is just the optics of things. Like, for so long, it felt like everything was so buttoned up in Orchard Park after the press conference on Wednesday, where things kind of, to be nice, got away from the Bills in a PR sense. And then to have today Mike McDaniel, a head coach that Sean McDermott has beaten so consistently throughout his career. And you're right, Mike McDaniel, his credentials in terms of the offense, what he could do, that is absolutely something that could be a massive benefit to the Bills and to Josh Allen. But the optics of it, a guy that was kind of mocked for being corny and I wish it was colder and all that stuff, to then bring him in for a head coaching interview. Now, I do think it's important to note sometimes for these interviews, it is, learning and gaining intel about what coaches' philosophies are, how you could best utilize Josh Allen, all the things that go into that in the offensive scheme. But it's pretty surprising to me in just the last couple of weeks, when you zoom out, it kind of looks a little bit like a circus. And I'm not saying that it is, and I'm saying the Bills are, like you said, they're trying to be judicious in the way they're going about this, but Mike McDaniel and just the narrative around him and the culture and all those things, to me, it's definitely a way to make a headline in terms of bringing in a head coaching search. But I know the Bills obviously weren't done there either.
No, but a few things about McDaniel. So he already has the Chargers OC job.
Correct.
And they're allowing him to continue his search for a head coaching job. But if I'm the Chargers, I'm only allowing that for so long, right? I can't sit there and wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So the Bills interview McDaniel on Friday. I think it's right. Or right. It's Friday's when the interview was.
Yeah.
I'd say they have to make a decision on Mike McDaniel within a short period of time. Doesn't mean they have to hire somebody else.
Yeah.
But I would think he's got to say to them, listen, I need to know if you're interested in me, because the Chargers are only going to wait so long.
Yeah. If I'm the Chargers, I'm like, figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, we gave you this job. If you want to take a head coaching job, okay. But also you're going to leave us hanging. So if you're going to do it now, or don't do it at all.
So we're recording this on Friday. If Mike McDaniel is getting this job from the Bills, I'm saying is at the latest on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be, it's not that they're waiting for Clint Kubiak and Mike McDaniel then is out, right? I mean, that would be, you can't, unless he says, well, I don't really care about the Chargers job, I'll just sit out, or I'll wait to see what's happening. Because if Clint Kubiak and Seattle win and it goes on 2 more weeks to the Super Bowl, and the Bills want to wait, the Chargers aren't going to wait for that.
No, absolutely.
So there would be a decision. So I think this one with McDaniel, fascinating what Josh Allen thinks about it. He's a guy, he's going against that team. He's obviously seen what the Dolphins can do offensively and the things they can do, whether he would be intrigued about that for his offense. Yeah. But I will say that net is super wide. And then you got Phillip Rivers.
Well, I was to say, the one thing about McDaniel is at least he's been a head coach before.
Yeah. And made the playoffs.
Made the playoffs. I think that is a benefit in terms of experience. Like, Phillip Rivers has not coached at the collegiate level, let alone the NFL level.
Hell of a high school team, though.
They went 13-1. I think they did.
Yeah.
But that, to me, and I get it. Hey, Phillip Rivers, we saw what he did in the NFL when he came back. Cool story. Obviously someone that I think a lot of fans like him, but I don't think they like the idea of him then coaching the Buffalo Bills.
I would say being a quarterback and the idea of being a play caller sort of can be a little bit hand in hand. Now, I think Josh Allen understands play calling. I don't think Josh Allen tomorrow would be an offensive coordinator for a team. It would take an adjustment. I think Phillip Rivers has always played like that, because Phillip Rivers is not Josh Allen. Like, Phillip Rivers is knowing where the ball's going. Scheme is the thing, right? That's the way he's played. And then he was out of the game for 5 years. It was coaching a high school. Just so we all know, he was coaching the same offense that the Colts used, is what the whole big thing was. Then he came back and played okay in that role. I was thinking he could be your emergency third quarterback. You can save a roster spot. Get him a helmet that fits, though, by the way.
I was seeing some things online about if Josh throws 3 interceptions, look who's running into the game.
He's got to drop a couple of LBs, too, to play again. That was kind of funny, honestly. He's in retirement mode. But I guess as a CEO coach, and you heard Bean say that, CEO coach, and Phillip Rivers, dadgummit, he's not going to cuss. He does know the game. He's the locker room guy. He's also a quarterback. There is a lot of positives to him. I just think with all that would go into it, I mean, let me ask you this. If there was the connection there and you said Phillip Rivers is the head coach, Davis Webb is the offensive coordinator, even though Rivers is an offensive guy and a quarterback, I could see something in that case, right? Only because the head coach could focus on that, be an offensive guy, but still have a guy who is in the mode of being a play caller.
I don't love the idea of having inexperience at both levels.
You mean when Josh Allen is in his prime and you are moving on from Sean McDermott?
That's the thing. And we can talk about this till the cows come home. If you wanted to move on from Sean, I understand the fact that maybe a change was necessary. Josh is going to be 30 years old. And I think it can be it can be successful, but that doesn't mean it's going to be disruptive either way. It
Right.
could be disruptive in a positive way to have a new coach, but it also, a new philosophy means you're getting new players into the building. That means the roster is going to be even more at flux than it already has been. And again, that does not mean it has to be a bad thing, but you're banking on it being a positive when it could mean it's going to take a couple years to really hit the stride for this new head coach. And Josh Allen is going to be 30. I struggle with how long it'll take to get the guys that this new head coach needs, but also the experience factor. I would love to see a head coach that has already been a head coach. I just think there's such a learning curve to being a head coach in the NFL, that to have a guy that has the experience. Brian Dable failed as a head coach with the Giants. I think he learned a lot from what went wrong in New York and how he wants to better adapt if he were to get the job in Buffalo. But
and Brian Dable's advantage is Josh Allen probably trusts him as a play caller more than anybody. And let's just start with what you just said. Brian Dable failed with the Giants, had one good year. It went south. The Giants had a lot of issues. They've now gone full circle and went full on culture with John Harbaugh and gave him $20 million. But Brian Dable coached Josh Allen hard when he did, when he had him. Everybody talks about Josh is going to need some of that. I know they are tight, but Brian was never afraid to coach him hard. So the advantage that he has is head coaching experience, good and bad, and the fact that he hits the ground running with Josh Allen in terms of knowledge of each other, which is what the other guys do not have. But seeing something from a different perspective maybe is what, listen, this is what I was trying to say to somebody the other day. I think Ben Johnson's a brilliant play caller. I think he did a really good job with the Bears. Now, that was not a team that had won before, but he came in, had a great year, won a playoff game, and lost a heartbreaker in the second one. If the Bills' new coach does that next year, I guess that's good, but that's no farther than Sean McDermott has been.
Yeah.
And you have set this up to say we need to do better. It is a thin place to what's the word? What do? You got to thread the needle. You got to thread this needle of finding somebody who you're not going to take a step back, and then you also believe can take you a step farther.
Yes.
And so we don't know how this will play out. The Phillip Rivers thing is kind of fascinating. You had heard things from people to say when he was done playing, it's like, wow, Rivers still has, obviously the knowledge of the NFL. He knows offenses and all those things. I honestly think he is one of those kind of guys that could be a play caller just because that's what they do. But to give him the keys to the whole thing, never being a coach before, a head coach or any kind of coach outside of high school would be kind of wild.
That's a lot of projecting.
Yeah.
That of, okay, let's see. He did good in this role. Can he do great in this role? And I think, there's challenges that go into that. I mean, Phillip Rivers for me is not like, I can't wait. I hope that's the candidate. For me, if I was going to choose, I would want Brian Dable to be the head coach because of like what you talked about.
Right.
His experience already being a head coach, his relationship with Josh Allen. Ryan Fitzpatrick on his podcast, he talked about how he thinks Allen can be mentally coached to even a higher level. And I agree with that. I think we know the talent that Josh is, but I think having someone that can have that edge to get Josh to be even more motivated. I think that next level for Josh actually does exist. So already having a rapport with Dable and the success that they can lean on of how they've developed Josh earlier on, I do think that to me would be great. And then maybe having a Davis Webb or it would most likely be Davis Webb in terms of OC, because I think Clint Kubiak is going to get a lot of looks, but someone like that is fresh, that has new ideas, that, would be kind of the star guy like that.
The Kubiak one is fascinating only because he's already an OC. He's taken this team to the Final Four and may very well go to the Super Bowl, but he's not leaving there unless he's getting a head coaching
Correct.
job,
Yeah.
Right.
Which I don't blame him.
The Davis Webb one is different because he's not the OC of the team. He's also working for Sean Payton, who is a play caller. That's the way it goes. The Josh being in on all the meetings is fascinating. Now, we have not heard from Josh Allen. We don't know how he feels. I will say this. I was told by somebody that obviously Josh had a good relationship, very good with Sean McDermott. That part of it, that's up for Josh to be saying how he feels. I'm sure that was an emotional thing in total. But at a certain point, this train is running. Josh is greatly impacted by what happens next. And the team has him in these meetings. I assume that's all in person. I assume he's on the plane with everybody else going to Florida and going to California.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they're doing. I'm happy that Josh is in on some teams and some places. People would be like, really? You're going to let the quarterback do that? It's Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And I think they trust him and they want him as part of the whole process.
Well, the last thing you want to do is alienate your franchise quarterback. And the national perspective is Josh Allen is just a player. Why is he involved in this? And I understand from the national perspective how you just don't get what Josh means to this organization. Josh needs to be on board. This is a decision that is because of him, because they say Josh Allen is his MVP. He can't get to the next level. He needs to be on board with the type of guy that's going to come into Buffalo and be his head coach. So it makes total sense to me that you're going to have a guy that Josh wants. Now, should it be his final call? No, I don't believe in that either, but he absolutely should and will have influence on this decision.
You want to see what the dynamic is. Now, he knows these people, but I don't know how often he's sat in a room with Mike McDaniel.
I don't know
obviously
either.
He knows Dable, right?
Yes.
Phillip Rivers, he would respect. I'm sure
He's played against Phillip Rivers. Yeah.
I was going to say in his last game, but then he came back.
Yeah, that's fair.
Rivers came back. I think it would be
the last game before this last game.
Yeah. Right. I think it would be fascinating to see him work with somebody like that. It's funny. Rivers is how old?
41?
No, he's older than that. I think he's isn't he like 44? Maybe he's not that old.
He's 44.
44. And Davis Webb is 30. Davis Webb is slightly older than Josh.
Yeah, Davis
So
Webb
when you look
31.
at those kind of players, the way people talk about Davis Webb does remind you of Sean McVay in a sense of he's a guy that was on staffs and people I remember being at the combine. My brother, my nephew are huge Rams fans. And we were out at the combine and I'm walking by and I see Sean McVay. And I sort of took a picture of him from a distance.
Yeah.
I can be obvious with some stuff, but that one I was pretty good. And I sent it to my brother and I go, this kid is your coach. He looked like a baby because he was a baby.
He was a baby.
What was he? 30?
I think he was he?
He's
30?
He's not even 40 yet, is he?
I thought he turned 40 this year. No, he's 39.
He's
this
39.
Year.
And he's been the coach there for what? He took him to the
2017. So he was 30?
He's 29 or 30 years old.
Which is crazy.
And the second year he took him to the I think they took it to the Super Bowl.
That's when they lost to
the Patriots
yeah.
Right? So he took him to the Super Bowl. I think people think there's that kind of mind there.
He was 33 when he is the youngest head coach hired in NFL history at 30, youngest head coach to reach the Super Bowl at 33, and youngest head coach to win the Super Bowl at 36.
So I'm not saying that that's what Davis Webb is going to be, but there are people that think that way. Now, you find a way to get him in the building with somebody else, I think that would be a positive. Handing the head coaching job to him would be a lot, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But
also, if you think he's the guy, then maybe you think, screw it, we'll just have him and see what he can do in his first year, and then see if he can develop into the guy that we think he can be. Because you don't want to lose him if you have Dable and then you have Davis Webb come in and he has a phenomenal season. You don't win the Super Bowl, but then he's getting head coaching opportunities and you lose him again. There is a risk that is involved with that setup, but there's risk involved in this decision any way you slice it.
But you are sitting here with Josh Allen at 29, going to be 30, with a head coaching opening from a team that has been in the playoffs. You are in a unique position.
Yeah.
And if the team thinks, I see good, and then I look at Davis Webb and I think potential to be great, they would rather take him a year early than lose him a year late. Meaning, if that's the case,
get that.
It would be wild to turn it over to somebody Josh's age. But if you believe he's the guy, then maybe he comes with, does he hire a veteran offensive coordinator to be with him? He's never called the plays.
That's another thing too, though.
That's a lot to put on anybody.
That's a lot. Never calling plays.
And then being head coach and play caller.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Then you have to go out and get
and you also
absolutely a
you
veteran
have to
DC.
factor in the fact that Josh is 30. Is it's not like it's 25-year-old Josh and you have a long runway. The runway is shorter because of Josh and his age, his playing style, all those things. Like the urgency has always been around, but now it's even more ramped up
Yeah.
with where Allen is at in his career and how close you've been and yet how far away you've also
So
been.
Kubiak definitely has more experience.
Yes, yeah.
I really do believe that like Sunday they win and you're going to see sources with the Bills say that's their guy.
Yeah.
Because they'll get a good 2 weeks of positive stuff from him.
Mm-hmm. Kubiak is the son of Gary Kubiak, who
I think he's still coaching somewhere.
Really?
Gary Kubiak in like some European league, I heard.
That's
Now, to me, I would tell you this. If you hire Kubiak as your head coach, I would not mind seeing him bring his dad onto the staff.
Yeah.
He's a veteran coach who's been around, who's won a Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl with the Broncos.
He's the kind of guy that I think I would assume he and his dad have a good relationship. You would want that type of person with you to guide you through some stuff. Bring your dad to work day.
I mean, it's just so weird.
I was thinking when we were flying back from Denver, we were all tired. It's a long night. It's another crazy loss.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this week was going to be, okay, we get back, we do our meetings, we do the meetings with the coaches, and then you start pushing. And then no.
The
Bills are the story, the non-playing story of the whole NFL.
I've barely thought about the fact that the Patriots are still playing, which makes me upset. But that's kind of been nice to have a distraction. But it has been a whirlwind these last couple of days. From Monday to now. Also, the narrative around Buffalo, how much that has shifted with, is this a good job? Is it not a good job? I think the pendulum has swung back to, this is a very good job. But there is the pressure that comes along with, you mentioned the Bears. They were just trying to find the floor. Their floor was inexcusable. They needed to figure that out. For this next coach, and Terry Pagula said on Wednesday, it's not Super Bowl or bust. But we all know that it's Super Bowl or bust. It's got to be. For you to make the move that you made, it's because you don't think you can get over the top. Now, whether that happens in year one, that is left to be said. But this franchise cannot take a significant step back.
Significant step back is the biggest thing. I always laugh at Super Bowl or bust. It's sort of like must-win game, and that's when I go to Marv's line of World War II was a must-win.
Are they going to interview him?
Go Marv.
I love Marv.
Bring Marv in.
I love Marv.
But the idea
Sweet
behind
man.
it is it Super Bowl or bust? No, it can't be, right? Because
I think that's a little naive to say that.
Super Bowl or bust would mean if you don't make the Super Bowl, we're firing you. They're not doing that with the coach for next year. That's first year to do it. The idea is in his time, that's expected, or he's going to be gone. He's not going to get 9 years.
That's what I'm saying, though. So it is essentially Super Bowl or bust.
Yes.
Yes.
But not for 2026.
Agreed. And that's why I say there is significant risk because you're saying it's Super Bowl or bust, not this year, but obviously within a coach's tenure. I mean,
I'm with you on that.
Which again, risk is not like, this could be the move that gets the Bills where they're going to go.
It's a different type.
We just
of
don't know that
pressure
yet
for this coach because they don't have the past failures.
Correct.
But they inherit the past successes of Sean McDermott because
they inherit the pressure of Sean's success.
Yes.
And
without the pressure of his losses.
Correct.
But that starts getting tacked on to the next one. And also the truth is that gets tacked on to Brandon Beane and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
At this point, because the guy who's being blamed is Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone now. So next is the coach. The general manager.
Yeah.
I think in order of who gets blame, I think the first blame goes to Josh Allen, depending on how he plays. Because unless, depending on what you think about the roster. Like if Brandon Beane does not get him wide receivers for next year, he's going to get even more blame.
And
I think he has to do that. But Josh Allen now, never heard Josh blame Sean McDermott. But narratively, Sean got a lot of blame for the Bills' failures.
Mhm.
He is gone.
Correct.
So now it goes to the quarterback and to the general manager. But
yeah.
people pay way more attention to the quarterback and the coach. So the coach is gone. Now it goes to the quarterback. Fair or unfair, that's what's going to, especially him coming off a bad performance in his final game.
Mhm.
Because he hasn't really done that. Every other year, Josh has been good. They've lost. So,
Yeah. Do you want to talk about any of the other candidates?
Yeah,
Anthony Lynn obviously was the Bills' interim head coach at one point after their firing. Oh, excuse me. The firing
he's been
of
running
Rex
backs coach.
Yeah, he's been obviously was with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Anthony Weaver, who is a Saratoga Springs graduate.
Is he really?
Yup.
Did you guys go to high school together?
We did not go to high
He's a
school
little
together.
older than
He
you.
is a little bit older.
Not that much. He's not. He's in his 40s, right?
He's 45.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
he's like a year older than you.
Okay. Assault.
Oh, look at that. They had a blackout.
I punched
I'm
you.
not trying to be Anthony Lynn's nice man. His
Yeah.
wife's a news anchor. I think she's still an anchor.
Oh, really?
She used to anchor
That's
in New York. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Anthony Lynn is not getting the head coaching job. And I don't mean, I hate the Rooney Rule. There's too many talented people that get used in that. It doesn't mean maybe this is an interview for Anthony Lynn that he has a role with the Bills with a new coaching staff. I don't like the way the Rooney Rule is used. I think it's lost its place in helping coaches. Quite honestly, Mike McDaniel satisfies part of the Rooney Rule. He's considered a minority candidate. Excuse me, that was the wrong way to phrase it. He is a minority candidate.
Yes.
Anthony Weaver's interviewed with a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
But I think maybe there's a place for Anthony Lynn. I like when people get interviewed. I like when people get interviewed. But at the same time, he's not going to be the head coach of the Bills. I think there's some people that probably, I don't think Lou Amaruno's going to.
I said Amarillo the other day. Lou Anarumo.
Anarumo. I always want to go M. It's Anarumo.
Yeah.
Could be DC. Right?
What?
He was with the Colts.
Yes. Okay, yes.
These guys had success,
Yes.
especially if Phillip Rivers is your head coach. He just worked with him with the Colts.
And then Grant Udinsky, who's from the Jags OC. He called third down and red zone, I believe.
That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Like, here's what we're going to give you the two most important plays of the whole drive.
I mean, the Jags were really good in the red zone.
So wait a minute. Your guy, the genius in Jacksonville, didn't call everything?
That's crazy. I don't really like Liam Cohen. I don't really want a head coach like that. Like,
I did listen to Udinsky. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
In the interview. Came across pretty cool. Like, I liked his
demeanor.
Tone. He worked with KOC, who everybody loves, Kevin O'Connell.
Mm-hmm. Kevin O'Connell loves him.
How about you make a trade with the Vikings? Hear me out.
Okay. They play in Minnesota this year.
So how about you make a trade? You get Kevin O'Connell, and they elevate defensive coordinator, former.
You're talking about the Bills get Kevin O'Connell?
Bills get Kevin O'Connell.
Okay.
Their OC, DC is, oh my God, he was the
Brian Flores.
Brian Flores, who it was thought of for head coaching jobs.
Yes.
Maybe they have a thought they want to elevate Brian Flores. I'm just making this up.
I was just
Kevin O'Connell would be really good for the Bills. I think he's really good offensive coach.
Kevin
and he has head
O'Connell,
coaching experience, but you got to give up to get him. I don't think they're really doing that. I'm just saying. Brian Flores was still out there looking for head coaching jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. They have a new contract with him as their DC.
But he can take head coaching
job if that comes up.
When do you think they hire someone? I guess it's really dependent on how this weekend goes too in terms of interviews.
I guarantee.
And obviously game results.
So, Jenna, when they hire the coach, what happened in the interview? They were
privy.
Wowed.
Oh, they were wowed. Yeah.
He wowed us in the interview process. They always got to wow you. You got to wow them. Now, if somebody, what are you laughing at?
I just think they got to wow you.
Well, they do. They'll be like, he came in. I remember hearing the story of Andy Reid when he first came to the Eagles. He was a quarterback's coach for Green Bay. Brett Favre. People are like Brett Favre needs a coach. Oh, Brett Favre needed a coach. But he was never a play caller, was never a coordinator. And they said he came in with all these binders of all this stuff. and he wowed them.
Wowed him.
But they gave him the head coaching job. And people were
Yeah.
like, wow, this guy was never even a play caller. Back then, nobody got hired like that. And you usually had to be 50 to be a head coach. And he was
Yeah.
younger, and he came in and he took over. By the way, speaking of that, doesn't the Rams kicker, punter, look like
Yes.
Andy Reid in the punt,
Yes.
pass, and kick competition?
Yes. 1000%. They call him the thick kicker or thicker
Thicker
kicker.
kicker.
Yeah.
He's up there. You guys have seen the Andy Reid in that old Rams
Harrison
uniform kicking in the punt,
Nevis.
pass, and kick. It is
Yeah.
unbelievable. Then when he runs out on the field, I'm like, it's Andy Reid
I
in that Rams
know.
uniform.
What do you think for the games this weekend? Who do you got?
So I actually heard the Patriots aren't going to play against the Broncos. They're going to play against Phillip Rivers' high school team this weekend. The league doesn't think the Broncos, they think the Broncos are a little too much for them. They want to give them another easier try. They've had injured teams. They've had teams
with suspensions,
yeah, whatever it was. The league's like, I think we need maybe line them up against a high school team. Now, look, the Patriots should win, but I don't know. That game is in Denver. If they get anything out of the quarterback, believe me, if it was the Houston Texans playing and they just did not play CJ Stroud and maybe snap the ball to a running back, I would think Houston would have a chance against them to play them again. But it's probably going to be New England, though. You never know. With how Sean Payton is, his ego, man, he would love to beat New England with a backup quarterback who used to be with the Patriots, who never plays. Would be fascinating.
The last time the Broncos hosted the AFC Championship, they beat the New England Patriots. Now, I expect the Patriots to win, but wouldn't that be something?
That would be.
Other side of the ball, I know everyone's going Seahawks, but I think the Rams.
Yeah, Rams are, they're really good. They haven't looked great over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
That's totally fair.
And McVay's got to be better. Honestly, great play caller. I've never thought of him as a great game coach. Stafford's got to be better. Like, he's got the weapons. This may be it for Stafford, which would be wild. He could potentially go out as MVP and Super Bowl champ, which would be quite a way to leave. Seattle's really good, though, and they play with a bit of a violence.
Yes.
Like, they really get after it.
That's fair.
So
I'm doing a PowerPoint. I'm doing a girls' weekend next weekend for my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm doing we're all doing PowerPoint presentations.
Oh,
and
you guys are wild.
My PowerPoint presentation is at learning ball, but like little phrases my girlfriends can use when they're watching the Super Bowl. So I hope it's the Rams mostly so they could say Matthew Stafford, pretty as spiral.
Oh, by the way, do you know football?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's disappointing to some people that I do, but yes, I have.
Men agree with this.
You know what's crazy is when I'm real quick, when I'm like out at a bar and like not in Rochester or whatever, and I'm watching a game somewhere like with friends, I love being so annoying because a lot of people don't expect me to know football. Or really any sport, like watching a game, be like, oh, this team's really good. Like, they must win championships all the time. And it's like the Cowboys. Like, it's incredible. It's a rush. But yes, yeah.
It is something. I will tell this one quick story. I was with Dan in Cleveland, and I went down to the bar just to have something to eat. It was late. Dan was going to bed. We had the game the next day. I sat there by myself with a glass of water and a little personal pizza. I was very happy. And this guy was next to me. And Jenna knows I sometimes can't take a pitch. I listen.
Michael cannot take a pitch when it comes to sports stuff.
First, I thought he was hitting on the woman next to her. He just kept talking about his business. And I'm thinking to myself, this man is lying to you because men lie.
Yes.
And then he starts talking. He just keeps going and keeps going. And then the woman eventually left. And then he started talking to the couple across from me. I'm not saying a word. Do you know how hard it is for me to not say a word?
I'm genuinely shocked.
The Bears-Packers game, not the playoff game, the regular season game, crazy game, overtime. This guy now starts talking football.
Oh.
He's talking football. He is saying so much dumb shit. He's wrong about everything. And he's like, oh, they should do this, or I can't believe this guy, or why is that guy playing? And he didn't know anything. He was going on and on. He's talking to this other couple, and I'm just sitting there quiet, not saying a word. And then the guy finally stops talking, which is annoying when these men keep talking. And he looks at me and he goes, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "Good." And he goes, What are you up to?" I said, "I'm just hanging out." He says, "So what do you do for a living?" And I said, "I cover the NFL." And he goes, "Oh." And then I kind of a mic drop moment. I had already paid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Nice talking with you." And I just left. It felt so good
Oh, I love it.
because
I love
the
it.
guy said dumb stuff the whole time.
Yes.
And then
The amount of shit it gets said.
and
at
I
a
walked
bar
away like,
that's-
for all he knew, I mean, I have covered it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But he said dumb stuff and thought,
Oh, yeah.
nobody knows
Yeah.
that I'm dumb.
Yes.
So
he said it with his chest.
He definitely did.
Yes.
He was very confident in his dumb opinions.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So then I walked off.
Yeah. Met some people like that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
always,
you get that.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Like when people quiz me, that's like, I'm like, oh, okay.
How many players were on the team?
Do you like sports? Yeah. I just hate to break it to you. Okay. Anything else?
No. One I think I wanted to remind people of, if you've stuck with us this long, we are going to start doing our life advice
Oh, yes. Yes.
on the podcast.
What not to say at a bar. I'm kidding.
Well, so
I'm
we're going to think of things,
yes, if you
any
have.
questions you have.
Yeah, it doesn't have to pertain to football.
Because while
Really,
we
it shouldn't.
are all sort of together here, we do come at things in life a little differently.
But I think, and this is the reason why, I think we all have different perspectives in the best way, that we
Yeah.
can have a discussion about someone's thing they're bringing to us and the way we would approach it, or
I
our
have
take
been
on it.
in Jenna's position in life, newly married, house.
You've been a woman?
Well, that's another story. I wasn't seeing things that way. I wasn't
I'm
trying to diminish you
kidding.
or
It's a
say,
joke.
and I've been in Dan's position with his 15 children that he has. And now I'm in this other part of it where I'm a grandfather, but I'm
Yes.
living that life. And Dan has fascinating opinions on a lot of stuff. So this would be, and maybe you've seen other shows do it, but we think we could have fun with it, where something comes up. And a lot of times it's like, I got invited to this thing and I wanted to watch the Bills game.
Yeah.
And my wife was going to be pissed at me, or my husband was thinking it was crazy that I was going to do this. Or what do I do when my father-in-law says crazy things?
Yeah.
Like those are the kind of things. We're going to set up an email, because that's probably the easiest way for you to get to us.
Yes. Yeah.
So think of those things if they come up, and then we'll answer them.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's see. They haven't hired anybody. while
No,
we've
they
been
haven't.
talking,
I've been on Twitter looking. I just feel like they're going to hire someone. We're all going to be sitting around, and then it's like, oh,
We've been
it's
trying.
happening.
Like, it's hard to get information. I give this to the Bills. They usually don't leak a lot of information. They try to, and a lot of the candidates, and we've talked to some of the candidates, they are like buttoned up because the team doesn't want anything out there. They don't want anything known. It
Mhm.
does not help your candidacy to have your agent or anybody else leak stuff. Some stuff gets out, just that this guy's going to interview or that guy's going to interview. So far, we haven't heard any of the great experience. They loved him. He wowed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to get a wow, but that'll be after the
Wow.
fact.
Yeah.
And that'll be what they say at the press conference. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll have plenty more. That's another reminder. Way more coverage as this Bills offseason took a turn a lot of us didn't expect. We'll have coverage as the Bills look to find their newest head coach. I believe it would be the 22nd head coach in franchise history.
21 of them were during the drought. There was a lot of, that was a revolving door.
That's fair.
Anyhow.
That's fair.
All right.
Okay. For Dan, who's not here, and for Mike, I'm Jenna. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We will catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.